Daghang salamat. Thank you. Kindly sit down. I have a 3 pages of prepared speech. Is it that well, land reform has more to it than meets the eye. Maybe I will read the prepared speech in fairness of the one who labored for it until morning time. My staff came in this morning. But I will also try to express what's in my heart. Agrarian Reform Secretary John Casaciones and the other members of the Cabinet, Senator Bongo, basiwa na siya yung nagtindog, mutindog yun. Agriculture Undersecretary Waldo Carpio, Land Bank of the Philippines President Cecilia Borromeo, the 2019 recipients of the government's land distribution program, my fellow men. May mga bisita tayo. They share the same passion in life. Improving the lives of people, feeding. They are into the rice improvement. And they have a plant in Leyte. Kung nakita ninyo doon, maganda talaga. I don't know, but I think they are just motivated by an exceedingly passion for to assist their fellow men. Andito, the one who brought them to us is Solicitor General Joe Calida. Joe Calida is from Davao. We started our law practice almost the same year or two lang, and it was a very long time ago. Mrs. Milagros Calida, the wife of Ma'am. Attorney Mark Jorel Calida. Siya anak mo? May anak, may bugado ka na rin, ha? Mr. Patrick Francois Renosi. Miss Raquel Renositan, ma'am. Mr. Fonca Cerez. Muna ng dagog technology. Ano nga sila sa ako kanina. They went to me earlier, just before I came to meet you, and explained to me how they can improve the variety of rice, and that they have started a pilot project somewhere in Leyte, and it's going great. And so, ang kanila lang is magtulong. Tulong lang in the matter of production, no genetic engineering, no nothing, except that I think you plant it properly. There has to be something there that has to be or needs to be improved. Pero sabi nila, it can produce rice for the many Filipinos, not to go hungry. Pero ang problema natin is ganito. All over Mindanao, particularly, yung mga prime lands natin noon, the historical land geared for rice planting and corn, are getting to be smaller and smaller and smaller every day. The big corporations are taking over. And what they are into is agriculture, but it is for cash crop. Meaning to say, they're planting, na sila'y gitanom, what they're planting is to sell. That's why it's called for cash. We have not been able to catch up with the area where we can plant the produce would be food crop. So there's a dilemma there somewhere, and one day government has to reconfigure to have enough land to sustain the needs of the Filipino people. Historically, we have been importing, and that is because of so many factors. One is land. And during my time, I have insisted that we implement land reform. We are not buying lands anymore. Tapos na yun eh. But what I have been insisting all over the country, especially lands that were more or less structurally built for feudalism. So, yan ang problema. That is, nandito man si Tornillo, yung sasagay. Ang ayaw kong, what I do not like with the Communist Party of the Philippines is first, they are waging a war against government. Maybe I can understand that sometimes revolution is the best alternative. But today, it's passé. Bahaw na. And however long they fight, they cannot win. I have been an activist. I've been branded as communist during my first term as mayor. Lahat yan. And it is understandable. Christians who came here seeking greener pastures, of course, are not natives of Mindanao. If you do not know how to talk in Maguindanao, Maranao, Kagan of Davao, Yakan, Tausog, and the subcultures. If you are a Christian, then you are not a descendant of a Moro. You are a son or daughter of a Christian who migrated here many, many years ago, just like what my father and mother did. Now, at that time, there were a lot of lands, and the Spaniards, except for a few military outposts, the Fort Pilar in Zamboanga and all that, those were the only areas controlled by the Spaniards. But when the Americans came, they wanted to exploit, cultivate Mindanao. There's no typhoon, and what you plant here really grows. Kind to think of it as a queer, but if you'd notice, we have been here since 1949. You'd notice that except for the long droughts, Davao always has rains every day. Slight lang. Tapos matapos. It's a passing thunderstorm actually. Parang gano'n. And it records and helps in the cycle of water, planting, and everything. Davao is an exception, and I think that we are lucky. We have to thank God for that. Just be sure you did not include the land of the church there. You will fight with the priest Baka nasali ninyo yung simbahan ng lupa ng Archbishop dyan. So, I'm going now for what's my lamentation. Itong mga NPA, alam mo, ginawa ko na ang lahat. I have made a few promises. Because for one, I never thought I'd make it with the presidency. Baski kayo dito, I'm not trying to bug you. Dito, it's only about maybe 20% believe that I'd win. But of course, it was a popular notion already that in Mindanao, we needed somebody by this time. But in other places, Visayas, they never gave me a Chinaman's chance to win. And yet, I find myself now, I made a few promises. I said that I will go ahead and implement the land reform. This is not the first time. Every week I go out of Manila to the other provinces. This is the same thing that happened. In Sagay, where there was a lot of killings, yan ang problema dyan. Itong mga komunista, they're blaming government for the killings, when actually, you started the spate of murders there. Ang pinakamarami na may tama, the hardest hit group of government men are soldiers, policemen, and people who are openly for the government, and mga barangay captain. Bilangin mo na since the election, it was just recent, na makita ninyo na maraming barangay chairman na namatay. And they are killing teachers, killing principals, pero kung magsalita itong mga wala may bisita lang eh. Mga wag ninyo akong lukuhin kay galing ako diyan. Let us not, I've been there. You know I've been there. That karapatan used to be known as the Nationalist Alliance for Justice, Freedom, and Democracy. I was the chapter president. And karapatan is a front. Just like our barangay captains are our legal fronts. Kayong mga karapatan, mga samahan ng mga demonyo ng Pilipinas, mga, what you did in Negros, is not just fighting. The danger there is you are now implementing the commune system of the discredited Communist Party strategy. Guys, I've sent people to China. Those who surrendered, diretso, punta kayong China. So, look what the communists did with their communism system. So, if you find it still viable for this country, then I will join you. But look at China now. The party is only there to control the government. Otherwise, it will. But it has gone too big. Dito, you are still fighting, you are still killing people, murder, and I said, that's not only the reason of the number of people killed. That's one. It's lawless violence, but they are now implementing their style that if you are the beneficiary of a land, our land reform government gives those tenants of yours the first option, the right of first to be the beneficiaries because they were the descendants for many years toiling the same land from his grandfather to father. Bibigay. In Negros, it is not the case. Alam mo, sa Negros, you are forced to join a federation, and that federation will choose the people who will occupy the land that has been already covered by the land reform law. So sila na ang mamili kung sinong ilagay nila. Kaya yung patayang una doon kanila yung you are liars. Kanila man yun. Sila yung farmers dito, nag-meeting sila ng farmers ng federation, pati yung grupo. Hindi sila nagkaintindihan, nagbarilan. Tapos tina-charge ang gobyerno, ako raw. Why would I kill? What for? Use you as your, if I can use your carcass as a fertilizer, I might do that to increase the yield. Bakit? Why would I kill people? For what? If you just can wait, I can, I said. Well, I'm the only president today to has distributed how many hectares, Secretary? 120,000 hectares. Meron pa akong 3 years. Pero hintayin lang ninyo. You know, I read somewhere, a learned man, of course, he said, yung revolution, hindi pwede yan if you want change. Nowadays, cannot. It has to evolve by itself. Gaganda rin yan, evolution. America took them so many years, Europe. But the problem in the Philippines is we are beset with, I said, so many runaway population. We are now 110, 108, they say. And if we rely only on the available lands being tilled now without improving on the technology, on the yield, we will be forever importing rice from the East Asian countries. Ang problema dyan sa ASEAN, the greatest asset also of the countries that are being utilizing the Mekong Delta. Pero ang Mekong Delta, they say, is also slowly being silted by salt water. Someday, it could not really produce as fast as it is now. With the increase in population, patay na. So, the Philippines has to, they used to call it invention, but it's innovation actually now, on anything. Not necessarily contrivances or gadgets, but you have to innovate to survive. So, we are glad that we have visitors, I said men of goodwill, and I'd like to say to the communists, you have crossed the red line. You know, I have been mayor of the city for 23 years. There never was a time that the military or myself allowed torture or to hurt people who surrendered from the NPAs or captured. Wala talaga. We never allow it. Maybe we want it as a revenge. But since we are government and we have stand, but we have to have morals to prop us up. Otherwise, we are no different from the barbarians like them. Ang problema nito, in Negros, they captured 4 policemen. And they were battered to death with so many hematomas all over the body. In the 23 years, we never did that. The communists here who take hostage of our soldiers, I go to the mountains every now and then with Bong, bring a helicopter, and if there are many, I bring 2, 3, and retrieve them from the custody. And they have always been honoring that no torture or no inhuman. Doon sa Sagay, ang pulis, pinutulan pa nila ng Gillette daw ang ginamit. Sabi ko, no, look, the reason why we cannot develop fully is the countryside is infested with parasites like you. You do not work the exact taxation. And if you think that the barangay captain is not cooperating with you, with the communist theories and your ideologies, which is rotten already, it is corrupt just like the ISIS, you fight, you kill. I served notice the other day that I will not take it sitting down. I will just maybe, I told my military and the police, gawin mo sa kanila, do it to them also. I've been telling you, I will implement a more severe measure. What is it? Maghintay lang kayo. Kasi sabi ko, sumusobra na kayo. And in some areas, malaki masyado, and I am short of policemen and soldiers. But you cannot do it unrestrained, unbridled, uncontrolled, as if you are the killing machine of the Philippines. You try to crucify me about drugs. In my election, I made 5 simple promises. I said, I will go after corruption. And I'm doing it. I've been firing people. I've been changing. I've fired about 5 lawyers. Sabi nga ni Gordon, says, militarization of the cabinet because most of the members of the cabinet are former military officers. He's a lawyer, but I just don't know why he chose to interpret it, When a military man retires, he is for all intents and purposes nothing but a civilian. And second, because I can rely on them. And third is because most of them are fundamentally honest. Those that I got in my wagon, in my journey to the presidency. Second, sabi ko sa drugs. When I was mayor here, I told you frankly, do not destroy the Philippines. Do not destroy our young men and women. We are poor. We need them when we go. And even to buy for our medicines, for even the vitamin C or biogesic, just to ease the pain. We are not rich. Most of us are migrants, and we have not reached that apex of wealth that some have. Life is never fair. mayroon binigyan ng Diyos ng mga mayaman. Mayroon talagang tamang-tama lang. Nandito tayo, we are here where we need our children because when we grow old, like military, how many of you? 1, 2, 3, 4. They retire at the age of 56. And that's about the time when their children are in college. Or still, if they are prolific, some of them are in the high school. Sabi ko, military, 1 or 2 is enough. You practice, get your instructions from the priest how to do it. Be celebrated. You cannot have so many children where you is there. Because in all probability, you will die in an average of 1 to 10. Your average of dying is about 7. So yan ang ano ko. I will not allow the communists to do. Then I promised you drugs. And I said, I will kill you if you destroy my country. Who will buy my cough syrup? Who will buy me my Norgesic? Who will buy me my morphine if my children can afford it? Or else I will just while away grooming but in pain. Most of us will die of cancer, if not by the bullet of those communists. So, who will pay for our funeral charges? Who will buy our, where you want to be buried? That's why we need our children. We cannot afford our children to be destroyed because if there is no one to take care of us, then the quality of life and then the economy will suffer and we go kaput. And at the end of the day, who's to blame? It's the president. It's the president who holds the... So when I say do not mess up with drugs because I will kill you. If you are foreigner, sinulosa, better be very fast because if we meet in one corner, you will die. So with the ISIS, wala akong ano dyan. They're totally bankrupt, an ideology of nothing. They just kill and kill and kill and destroy. That's all they do. And what should I do with them? They will also kill you. Courts. I was a prosecutor before I became mayor. I was doing trial work, prosecution in court every day. I know how it is. Batting average, we are a democracy. Proof beyond, listen, proof beyond reasonable doubt. If I create a doubt, even how little, that criminal goes free. That is the rule in democracy. So what's the batting average of a prosecutor winning a case, getting a conviction in this country, with all the corruption, with all the judges and prosecutors, and policemen? I think that we have a better police now because I also told them, do not go into drugs. You will die. Do not ever think that you are a police or you are exempted. You will be the first to go. And that would be the rule until the end of my term. My advice, just do what is right, period. Just do what is legal, period. And you will not have any problem with me or with government. Now I'm overshooting. Let me read let us see what the bureaucracy in this seat of power wants to convey to you. I am pleased to be with you today as we hand over certificates of land ownership and emancipation patents to our agrarian reform beneficiaries from the 5 regions of Mindanao. We have gone a long way in our decades-long quest to emancipate our farmers from the bondage. As of June this year, almost 5 million hectares of land have been distributed to almost 3 million agrarian reform beneficiaries nationwide. Almost 2 million hectares of these lands are located in regions 9 to 13, benefiting more than 960 farmers. With today's distribution of titles, we look positively into the future as government endeavors to complete the acquisition and distribution of almost 550 hectares of agricultural lands nationwide, 81 hectares which are here in Mindanao. These titles represent not just an ownership over the lands that our farmers steal, but also my administration's steadfast commitment to implement genuine agrarian reform, and that is anchored on social justice, peace development, equity, productivity, and all for our local governments. The time has come for us to fully acknowledge the invaluable contribution of farmers in nation building and in promoting food security despite the many difficulties and challenges that we face. Let me cut. You know, agriculture is the weakest link sa atin. So we have to do more. That's why I said, German si Mrs. Borromeo, land bank, as the word says, it's a land bank. It is a bank that would cater to the needs of the land owners or farmers. But without really being offensive, pinaka number one ngayon na banking, the number one banking institution now is the land bank, but it is into so many things. I said, go back to your old, the purpose for which you were created. So that the farmers now, kayo, and I'm asking Bongo, sino pa ba, sino nandito pang may ibang congressman? I'm asking you, na yung titulo nila, mamortgage nila sa bangko, ma'am. Hindi kasi magamit nila eh. Ngayon, ito, we are crafting a law that would allow you to mortgage your title, your land, to borrow money to improve the land. And for the many of you who are really not so keen about farming but want the easy life, you go to the bank, mortgage it, and if you have about 50,000, you go and buy shabu. And then shabu would make you a millionaire in 3 months' time. But do not forget to buy a pre-need and make your reservations in the funeral parlors. You will go there, I can assure you. By giving them actual possession of these titles, we are empowering our farmers and improving their capability for self-reliance and greater productivity. Ang mata ko medyo ang may diferensya. By giving them actual possession in the implementation of the Comprehensive Land Reform Program, by releasing to our beneficiaries the original owner's duplicate title of the agricultural lands awarded to them. I cut here. My orders are to the DAR, give the land to the beneficiaries according to our laws. And those are the tenants who have been there since time immemorial. Now, if you give me time, if you listen, have you had your dinner? Sabi ko muna kayo, go ahead. When you try to make an assessment or a profiling of a tenant, whether giving the land or allowing the land to be mortgaged to get money, try to figure out from what region he comes from. Ito ang sekreto. It's my native understanding. Since when I was studying law, I've been trying to figure out why. There are places like in Mindanao, you can convince them by ideology. As for example, land reform. Yan man talaga ang number one nila. That this is the number one hula balo which they used to entice the poor people of the vast lands up. Alam mo, kung mga ito lang, you only have to make them irrelevant. What? The greatest promise that the communist can give is land reform. I have been at it since I became president 3 years ago. Marami na nga. Just make them irrelevant. Nandiyan na eh. Sila, wala pang typewriter. How can they distribute land? They have dirty nails. They do not brush their teeth. They do not even have shoes. Then you pretend that you are what? You want to distribute land? By the way, do you know how to spell land? I am insulting you. Kasi because you are killing everybody there. Anyone that is anti-communist or does not like the communist, you kill. Nang ito dito, remember imperialism. Imperialism started the troubles of our country. My mother is a mestiza Maranao. My lola was a Maranao. My lolo was a Chinese. Alam ninyo yan. So, when you deal with, you do not deal with them na lupa-lupa lang. Because pag nagbigyan mo ng lupa, tatulungan mo, if you are there to help, madali na yan. But itong from Negros, bantay ninyo ha, Negros, yung 2 Negros na yan, yung pinaka-magulo yan, at Central Luzon. Bakit yan dalawa? Yang dalawa na yan, the NPAs there are the descendants of the tenants when the Spaniards came. When the Spaniards came to the Philippines, they subjugated us, confiscated our lands, and gave them to the Insulares. Yung Insulares are the Spaniards who were born here and never went back to Spain or never nandito nakatira, never. So sila yung mga mayaman. That's why in Bacolod, yung mga mistiso, yung mga mayaman. No offense intended. I'm just telling you the truth because I should tell you why we are now here. Bakit nakaganito tayo? Yung mga yan, you cannot convince them with anything. Land reform, wala sa kanila. Why? The feudal system that was started by the Spaniards has become part of genetic order. Ano talaga yan sila? They are the ones who experience feudalism at its worst. From the time of the Spaniards, from the time of the Americans, and from the time this republic was created, until somebody, hindi lang ako, not only me, but men of, they tried to, itong kay Cory Aquino, ganito yan. Cory Aquino may be popular. She is popular today. Why? For losing the husband in the hands of Mr. Marcos. But what is the fundamental reason why someday, 30 years from now, we may try to balance history? Because Aquino declared land reform for the entire Philippines, but exempted Doña Luisita. Her own land. To the many, to those who really wanted to be freed from Marcos, that's another feeling, maybe of gratitude. Pero yung when she said, I would like to declare land reform in all of the Philippines, hindi niya sinali yung kanya. She exempted her. So, you quarrel, what? The one who freed, emancipated, it's an incongruity, they call it. So yan ang gusto. Itong mga dealing with itong mga tao sa Central Luzon, pati Bacolod. Why Central Luzon? Because of sugar. Yung sugar quota. That was it because America gave the Philippines a premium price for sugar. Kaya yung sugar quota noon, pinagbibilyon, pinag-agawan kagaya nitong luto ngayong itong mga STL. Kasi papel yan, pera yan. Pag may quota ka, kapag dala ka ng sugar doon, plus ka, which was not given to the other country. Preferential attention dito sa, because of the Philippines being the former colony. Kaya ang sugar malakas, where? In Negros and in Central Luzon. Both, ikaw taga-Roongon, both kuwag ko yan. Meron sila doon, di ba? Ponte Verde, they have a large land. In Central Luzon, and that's in Luzon, and in the Visaya. Yan ang sikreto dyan. Bakit? Hindi mo makita. Hindi mo makita. Pero, yan, mga Benedicto, they were the ones where the chosen few that the fathers sold. Kaya feudalism, that explains why pumunta dito ang mga Bisayas. The Americans wanted to develop them for themselves. Awarding them 100,000. See, you want an example? Wallstrom. It's just a few kilometers. That's 1,000 hectares. It's owned by Danding Kuhang ko now. Binili niya kay Barastro. It's being planted with banana. Kininto ko lang ninyo ito para malaman ninyo ang history na ang kawawa dito ang Pilipino. And my God, you cannot correct a long justice committed during the Spaniards and the Americans, and you try to wipe out the Filipino and the government, the local governments down there. I will not allow you to do that. I will not. I will give you tit for tat. That's my order to the military. Give them what they deserve. They are not fighting a conventional war. They are not obeying the Geneva Convention. Ganun rin ang Abu Sayyaf. Decapitation. You pay the ransom, decapitate. Like here, you want me to tell you the truth? Kidnappers here, they pay, then they kill. So when I catch you, you pay. What would you like? So no more kidnappers. When I told the drug addicts, I will kill you. So no more. The gangster there in the streets, I said, I do not want to see you walking. I only want law-abiding citizens walking the streets at night. I do not want gangsters and muggers walking around. So there are no gangsters and muggers. You want to transfer? Well, it is not really. There's a big water behind this building. A few meters is a vast sea. You might want to swim there with your feet and hands tied around your neck. That is how the peaceful. But if you just follow the norm of talo tayo dyan. So I'd like to congratulate the beneficiary. Maghintay lang kayo. Just wait a little while while crafting the law. I said that would allow you to use it as a mortgage. Hindi kasi natatanggap kaya wala silang pangkapital. But for those of you who are intending the money for other purposes like shabu and cocaine, be careful. Be careful. Because I have told you, I have warned many. And the warning, not only, well, I don't know, but that's how it is. Thank you.